Hello, dear friends. This is Moment of Harmony with Euripides Barsanulfo. We have been studying his messages that are unprecedented, messages that were received through Corina Novellino and or Chico Xavier at different times, mostly in 1955. And these messages are truly to calibrate ourselves, to calibrate our inner lives, to create serenity. So now we are finally here together, and thank you, friends, for your feedback and for the patience. We are here tonight to practice and to be aware that serenity is a conquest. Serenity and harmony can only be achieved if we work for it, right? The question for all of us, how much time are we spending building this inner serenity, this inner harmony? The environment around us will not display these features if it's not displayed inside of us. So if we want family harmony, we need to build it inside of us. If we want the harmony in our work, we need to build it inside of us. So tonight we're being asked, do we work towards it every day? Most often than not. We are always on emotional survival. What is emotional survival? It's constantly defending ourselves, feeling we have to be in the defensive mode. Always looking at people as if we are in a competition, as if we are in this ego fights and battles. We don't need it. Why? Because everybody is God's creature. Emmanuel, in a beautiful message in chapter 151 in the book Living Spring, reminds us that we are co-workers of God. But when we don't believe in the good of others or even of our own good, we renounce, he says. We are renouncing the role of co-workers of God to become critics of God's work. So to achieve serenity and harmony, we need to believe in the divine inside of us and inside of everything that God has created. Even in a cockroach. Even in a cockroach. I know spring is coming, and not only flowers are blooming, but animals are popping up. Bugs. Beautiful animals, and not so very beautiful. Forgive me for saying this, but they're all beautiful. And they're creatures of God too. The ants, the cockroaches, the rats, the mice. Hopefully in nature, not in our houses, right? We don't need to cohabit, maybe. All right, we can kindly sing, can you please go back to your environment? But tonight, Professor Euripides Barsanulfo is going to invite us to beautiful and practical exercises. As a wonderful educator that has been with Jesus since the first hour, he comes in his name to educate us, to empower us. Right, Lusaboya, just love all, yes. To empower us to the pathway of harmony, to the pathway of serenity. Let us read. Visualize yourself in a beautiful classroom with Euripides Barsanulfo, the school of Allan Kardec, as he stated as the name of the school he created, Colégio Allan Kardec, which still exists and has more than 100 years of works that are still ongoing and growing beautifully. Dear brothers and sisters, peace peace and light to your hearts. Seeking to understand the eternal laws of justice, you will have adequate answer to all of the problems of life. It becomes necessary to intensify your efforts in regards to the immortal conquests. Such acquisitions of the spirit are expressed by the mechanisms of love and work. Inspired by this most important foundation, you will walk safely and overcome the natural stumbling blocks of the road. Out of it, you'll be exposed to falls, of which few rise in the course of an entire existence, thus losing the wonderful resources of opportunity. The good soldier gathers the effective elements that guarantee the success of the struggle that he will undertake, including the resources of their own courage. This is how you should proceed. Reassure yourselves through serenity and love in order to successfully accomplish the work of your own recovery with the Christ. During fierce struggles, you will feel the sweet comfort that the accumulated energies will give to your spirit. I'll read it again. During fierce struggles, you will feel the sweet comfort that the accumulated energies will give to your spirit. It is necessary to remember that whenever these energies are constituted of the holy elements of detachment and even of the sacrifice in favor of the neighbor. Love is the highest expression of the great spiritual achievements of the human beings. It is the most powerful reserve that your spirits can afford in the hardest instant when many barriers seek to obstruct your route to ascension. Let us then seek all the spiritual resources and form a favorable atmosphere to the victory we're longing for. May Jesus bless us all. Euripides Barsanulfo, on May 20th, 1955. Yes, there are many elements here. And he mentions to us, first and foremost, that we need to seek the understanding of the laws of justice. Okay, do we understand? Not yet. So we need to go to the Spirit's book, read the last chapter of the third part of the Spirit's book, the last law, the law of justice, love, and charity. And by studying, read a paragraph a day, okay? Just one of them, 875. That question and answer gives us a lot of direction regarding justice. It's about respecting the rights of others, of course, with the boundaries being when the rights of others are not going to be harmed. So that's how we outline our list of rights and duties. We are living at a time on the earth in which the law of freedom is becoming very predominant, in the sense of people are finding out that they are free of many impositions of life. But we can't forget that there is order in the universe, and there is the need of discipline, as the Dalai Lama says in his book. He talks about the ethical discipline, which is making efforts not to hurt others. There are so many dimensions to it. So let us assess ourselves. let us assess ourselves in regards to this definition of justice. Are we making everything we can not to hurt other people? It depends, right? If you're saying physically, no, Vanessa, I don't hurt anybody. Okay. Emotionally, I don't know. Sometimes being indifferent to people, neglecting attention to them is harmful. It's what we call relational aggression. Parents sometimes play that role, purposefully or without purpose, or without meaning it. When the children need their attention, they are looking at the cell phone non-stop, telling children that they are not important, right? So when adults talk, in a more civilized world, adults talk considering the presence of little ones. Many adults feel bothered by the presence of children. And that's because we're not considerate enough, kind enough. But we need to practice that, loving kindness. No wonder many children are going to school and they are feeling and they are replicating that relational aggression with other children. Because with the demands of modern life, that relational aggression happens at home. So we need to adjust it in order not to allow it to spread out through our children in their environment. When children are happy and embraced and feeling loved, they are able to spread that love and embrace others. And whenever they see somebody who is not well, they cannot disregard it. They stop their world to go and rescue that one. I'm not going to say rescue per se, but they are reaching out to those who are in need. Always feeling empathy. We wanna be aware of the need of becoming more empathetic, not pathetic, but empathetic to one another. Realizing deep in the core of our souls, what do people need, the ones who are around us, right? So in our brains, just to tell you, if you don't feel easily as an empathetic person, in our brains, we have a structure that is more highly activated when we're feeling empathetic. It's right here. It's almost like we have antenna to absorb, to observe the suffering, the needs of others. But it's something that we can learn as well. And our brains can change their morphology, I would say their structuring through new synapses, the formation of newborn neurons, as we expose ourselves to new learning experiences. If you're asking, Vanessa, how can I become more empathetic? There are many pathways. But one thing is asking this question inside of us. Wherever I am, practicing this inner question, wherever I am, ask, how can I be of help to the people in this environment? Sometimes it's not by words or actions, but through beautiful thoughts, thinking of good thoughts to other people. I remember asking our dear friend Jorge Godinho Neri, who helped us found the Euripides side of Baltimore, and who also supported us through the process of the foundation of the Euripides Society of Virginia. One day, I asked this question to him as a spiritist. He had high positions in the Brazilian government, especially in the Brazilian Army, the Air Force. And I asked, you are often invited to social gatherings that are related to your work. How do you behave yourself there as a spiritist? And I'll never forget when, through his serene look, he turned and said, you know, I always think of the spirit guides of the people who are there and how much they are looking forward to somebody being the gate opener of, you know, goodwill. So I think about the opportunity of praying inside of my mind to everybody who is there without people noticing that I'm praying, and hoping that through that open door, the guardian angels of people can operate more easily throughout the environment. It's incredible how we can be of good use without words, through prayers. So asking this question, people are on the earth to learn. They are going through tests, trials, and expiations. How can we be of help when you go do your grocery shopping, when you meet people in a restaurant, anywhere? So that's about what Professor Euripides is telling us tonight. He's saying intensify your efforts regarding your immortal conquests. So, if you are driving through 1 or 2 gear, now we need to go 5th gear, okay? Speed it up. Make more intense efforts, he says. Acquisitions of the spirit that are expressed by the mechanisms of love and work. So come on, do the good, huh? Do the good, do the good. Faster, do the good, do the good, do the good. We need to make it more intense, friends. That's what Professor Euripides is doing. Don't be on the comfort zone, saying, yes, I'm working hard enough on myself. There's always another level. Emmanuel always reminded, and André Luiz as well, and many other good spirits reminded Chico Xavier that there is always another level to be conquered. There is always room for improvement. And that's not being hard on us. That's actually being loving to ourselves, saying, I know you can do better. Come on, adjust yourself, rethink that attitude. Let us polish ourselves to another level. We can be more loving, right? I know I can create miracles in my life. I know I can create miracles in my life. You know you can create miracles, miracles, miracles in your life. You can. I can. And that's the miracle of our own transformation. And miracle because it's sometimes unimaginable. You are divine. Believe in it. Have faith on yourself. Inspired by that foundation, we will walk safely and overcoming the natural obstacles of life. The good spirits never say things that are the la-la land of spirituality. They're very realistic. They say, yes, on the earth, there are natural stumbling blocks. Big deal. When we work out of love and have faith, we will walk safely and overcome the obstacles. But we need patience. We need faith. We need confidence in yourselves and the divine in everything and everyone. And faith in God. Right, Audi Alves? Yes. And if we don't work through love and effort, what's going to happen? We're going to fall and miss the boat. The beautiful opportunity of this reincarnation. The good soldier gathers the effective elements to succeed in that struggle and courageously work on it. This is how you should proceed. So this is the key here. Reassure yourselves through serenity and love in order to successfully accomplish the work with Christ. So reassure yourself in serenity and love. Think about this. There is an issue happening with somebody in your family, in your work, in your Spiritist center, in your Spiritist movement. You don't need to solve the problem because only God does. Trust in God. Right, Liz? I hope the children are getting better, my friend. So we trust in God and say, God, you created me. You created that person. You know how we're going to harmonize our energy fields, our minds, and be in harmony with one another. I no longer struggle with it. I no longer want to manipulate it. I no longer want to bump heads or clash. I open myself to you in serenity and love. Tell yourself. Give your problems to the Christ and say, Jesus, you are assigned by God to help us. You know how to solve this. I trust in you. I surrender. I no longer want to be the leader because you're my guide and you're my model. So tell yourself, put your hand in on your chest, feel in your heart, and tell yourself, reassure yourself. Says Euripides Barsanulfo, this is how you should proceed. Reassure yourself in serenity and love to successfully accomplish the work of your own recovery with the Christ. Tell yourself, I am serene. I trust in God. I trust in me. I am serene because I trust in God and I trust in myself. I am serene because I trust in God and I trust in me. Reassure yourself. That's the pathway to harmony. To love ourselves, to treat ourselves kindly, so we can naturally do the same with others. This is the lesson of Euripides Barsanulfo tonight, inviting us to think more of serenity, to project it through others in our relationships, and trust that God is leading us towards that goal, that aim of life, serenity and harmony with God, which is all about love. As he says, love is the highest expression of our spiritual achievements, and it is on us to cherish it. Let us cherish serenity, love, boosting ourselves in the power of being co-authors of life with God. How do you feel? Wonderful, right? Breathe in and out and tell yourself, I can do it. I am serene. I trust in God and I trust in me. I am serene. I trust in God and I trust in me. This is the lesson of Professor Euripides Barsanulfo calling us tonight to this moment of harmony. Let us pray that we can gather tomorrow once again to continue this beautiful course with him on achieving greater harmony within and around. Thank you, friends, and until tomorrow.